Hello there, I'm Hampy and I'm playing 1001 games. This is the Revenge. And this is kind of like an episode 0 kind of a thing, because I am going to start playing 1001 games on YouTube. However, and this might sound a little bit shocking, I'm already 300 games into this journey of 1001 games. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm playing the 1001 games, how it all started, and a little bit of what you can expect from this journey. So yeah, this is like an episode 0 when I sit here and be like, back in my day, it started in the 90s. And we're gonna work ourselves toward this moment right here. So it all started in 1997, and I'm going to tell a little bit of a dark story here in the beginning. And it's because that year was the year where my grandpa passed away right in front of my eyes. So that was a pretty traumatic event. And my best friend at the time got lost in a forest. We were at a trip to the forest with our daycare, and he got lost in a forest, and unfortunately he passed away. So understandably I had a lot of anxiety at that time, and my parents took me to a psychologist, and they were trying to figure out what can we do to make him feel better. Activities, that's good. So my parents took me to try to play soccer, that didn't work, and then they tried theater, and at that time it didn't work, but a couple of years later, now I'm a theater teacher. And then they bought a Super Nintendo from my cousin, and that worked. And with the Super Nintendo, I got 6 games: Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, F-Zero, Blackthorn, Super Mario All-Stars, and The Jungle Book. And I guess what worked was that I played Super Mario World. I remember that being my first game ever. And when Mario died, things were fine. He just came back to life and he tried again. So I guess the perspective that I found that undramatized the death for me was that death is okay. I was like, oh, I wonder what Grandpa is doing right now then after death. Maybe he is in the clouds and having a cup of coffee and looking down on all of us. Or maybe he got reborn into a bird. Or maybe his soul got out of his body and went straight into a new little baby human and circle of life, so to speak. So I played video games through my entire childhood, and the next milestone is in 2006. Because at that time, there were so many other things in life that got opened up for me, so I put video games on the shelf. One of the interests that popped up was that me and my friends, we started to record Swedish comedy sketches together. So I did a lot of filming and I did a lot of editing and had lots of fun with that. And I didn't play that many video games for 4 years. The only video games that I really played was that me and my friends, we used to meet up during the weekends. We played Mario Kart, we played Halo, we played Call of Duty, and also Rock Band and Guitar Hero came along, so we were all like bashing those plastic instruments together for a couple of years until the next milestone, which was 2010. And it was here where I talked to classmate, or well, he went to music class and I went to theater class, and we would talk about, well, old games like Nintendo 64 and GameCube, and I mentioned that, oh, I wish I would have not dropped video gaming, because now there are so many games that I missed out on playing, and I might not never get the chance to play them now, because I can't find them anywhere in stores, anywhere. And then he mentioned, and keep in mind, this is 2010. Did you know that you could buy video games online? And he would show me a website where you could buy Nintendo 64 and GameCube games in 2010. And I was like, this is too good to be true. Like, Star Fox Assault for GameCube for $30. Like, that's too good to be true. That is so cheap. And keep in mind, this was before the retro boom happened, before everything became expensive. But I ordered the game, and lo and behold, this game right here dumped down in the mailbox just a few days later, and after that, it was no going back. This is actually why I keep it on my shelf here because this is where it all started in 2010. After this game, I would collect all of the games from my childhood that I missed out on. And it was to a point where I missed out on so many years of my friends being out, partying, buying drinks, dancing, and having fun at the club. I missed that because I spent all of my money on video games. And the next milestone on our journey is 2013, and with this thick book right here. This is the book 1001 Games You Must Play Before You Die. And I saw this one and I was like, yep, I'm buying this one because I really want to know what cool games that I missed out on back in the day. And when I read through this book, I was so disappointed because there were a lot of games that were missing in this book. One of them being freaking Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2, but Donkey Kong Country 3 is in this book. I was like, that's not right. So ultimately, after reading that book, I was like, I want to make a 1001 Games book myself. That was too huge of a goal at the time, because I was nowhere close to playing 1001 games. But this is where the research part happened. So I went through lists and lists of every single console ever. And then I looked up gameplay for all the games, and I was just researching what are some of the games that looks super interesting to play. So I compiled a list and I started to buy more games that I really wanted to play, to a point where I couldn't keep up with actually playing the games. The games got bought in more quicker than I could play them and sell them, just to be able to afford new ones. Which puts us at the next milestone, 2017. And it's another dark chapter. This is the year where I got depression. I got very, very deep into demons and other thoughts, and it nearly took my life. But don't worry, it's a happy outcome. I mean, I'm sitting here in 2025, so... But 2017 was a really tough year. I was studying at university, and I was always thinking that even if you push pause, life itself doesn't push pause. So I didn't want to miss out on anything in my life, so I just kept on going, even feeling the way that I did. But 2017 was, I couldn't keep on trucking no more, so I had to push pause. And I went to a psychologist, and we talked a lot about how to feel better. And she asked me, like, do you have any activities? And I was like, video games. And she was like, no, you need to be physically active. And luckily I didn't listen to that. I kept on playing video games. And I'm just going to take a little step back 1 year, or as a matter of fact, just to get you the full story, I was playing in a metal band at this time, together with one of the friends that I recorded these Swedish comedy sketches with, alongside another friend from high school. And we were playing at a place where the organizer there was super cool. So I went up to him and I talked a little bit, and I was like, what other events do you have here at this place? And he mentioned that we have a video game event where we showcase games and some speed runs, if you know what that is. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm a gamer. I love video games. And I also mentioned, which I forgot to mention, that since 2013 I was doing YouTube videos because I wanted to start making YouTube videos with these games that I grew up with. But ultimately I didn't get very far because I only did 9 episodes in the span of 4 years. Life was crazy and it took a lot of time to edit those videos. So I was like, I got to do something else. So I talked to this organizer, and lo and behold, suddenly I'm a part of the event. So this organizer, named Ultrafail, introduced me to Twitch, because that's the platform they were using during this event. So at this event there was this guy called Cheese, and he asked me and suggested, why don't you stream on Twitch? And at that time I was like, oh, it's live, I don't know about that, my English is not that good. And I like to have a script and everything, doing YouTube, so I was just like, at the time I was just like, nah. But he would send me the links to be able to set up just a stream to make it easy for me to do. And in 2017, when I got the depression, I had time. I had time to do a lot of things while I was recovering. So I decided to put up a stream, and I did my first stream. And then I did another one, and another one, and another one, and so on. I was now a Twitch streamer, and YouTube kind of became a big second place. I didn't release any videos on YouTube between 2017 to 2020, and by the time it was 2020, it was the pandemic. I, again, had nothing to do, so I did like a couple of silly dancing videos, that's about it. But Twitch opened up a whole new chapter in my life, and I think that thanks to that, I'm still alive today. Because I met people from all around the world who had gaming interests, and we would just sit and talk nerdy stuff all day, every day. So live streaming became a medicine for me, because I felt like I could still be social while I was recovering and trying to figure out who I was and what I wanted to do with my life, etc. And this is where the thought came to me. This is the format I want to use when I play the 1001 games. So at the time I called the list of 1001 games The Revenge of the Childhood. I took the name from my favorite Star Wars movie, The Revenge of the Sith. And the meaning of The Revenge of the Childhood is to get revenge on the past that we never had, since I had a very traumatic childhood and been dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety through my whole life. So The Revenge of the Childhood, 1001 games it was. And then I just kind of forgot YouTube. I didn't post the playthroughs on YouTube. So here we are, and now we have a backlog of 300 episodes to post on YouTube. And that's kind of now where we reach 2025. Now I just call it The Revenge, because it's not just Revenge of the Childhood, it's a revenge of a lifetime, essentially. And to a reason why I'm doing the 1001 games now, I dedicate the 1001 games to my grandpa, who passed away, my best friend at that time when I was a kid, and I'm dedicating it to my parents. I'm dedicating it to my friends who are sticking with me, because honestly, and this is truth, it's really hard to maintain friendships being neurodivergent. It really is. Many people get tired of you and they just leave. They just go away in your life, you know. And I'm also dedicating the 1001 games to my soon-to-be wife, because she honestly lit a new spark in this. Because 1001 games, you're subscribing yourself to do a lot of gaming, and there has been times during these 8 years that I've been streaming this that I've loved it for every single second, and then there's been a time where I just hate it and I just want nothing to do with it anymore, and then ultimately going back to loving it forever again. So that is the reason why I want to start posting the old stuff on YouTube to slowly catch up to where we are today. It's gonna take some time, obviously. We got 300 games to catch up on, but you gotta start somewhere. So we're starting here. So yeah, that is the backstory of the 1001 games, The Revenge. The reason why I'm doing it and where we're going with it. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about what you can expect from these videos I'm going to put up on this channel now. So I'm gonna try to post once a week a new playthrough, and with these playthroughs they will be edited. It won't be just a VOD that I put up. They will be a couple of hours long. They will be like between 24 minutes to 24 hours long. But I will cut out parts where, for example, I looked through the Metroid Prime playthrough, and that playthrough was 13 hours long. 7 of those hours were just backtracking, and it's so boring to watch, so I decided to just cut away those 7 hours. And I'm also going to have videos where maybe I cut out something in chat, you know how it is, trolls come in, or maybe there's a discussion that is just like, this doesn't really belong in the video. So some parts I just cut out, that's why sometimes I just say random shit out of nowhere. It's because I still want to leave a part in the video where you understand where we are in the playthrough, but I also don't want to, like, yeah. Editing is hard, man. Either way, this has been episode 0 of 1001 Games, The Revenge. I hope you're going to enjoy to get some content every single week now on this channel. Maybe there's a lot of games that you didn't get a chance to play back in the day, and now they feel like they're out of reach. Then I'm happy to provide. And sometimes we play games that are not worth spending time on. And I know one of the questions that's on your mind. Will he be able to play 1001 games? There's only one way to find out. Let's do it. I'll see you next week for episode 1, the first game out of the 1001 games, which is going to be Super Mario World. Obviously, it's the first game that I ever played in life, so I wanted to start out this project with the first game that saved my life, but also means a lot to me. With that said, I'm Hampy, and I'm playing 1001 games. This is The Revenge. Woo, baby, that took 40 minutes, bro.